The air was crisp, the calendar turning to the quiet lull of Thanksgiving week, but the baseball world was anything but calm. Behind the scenes, deals were being whispered about, front offices making moves that would reshape the very landscape of the game. You could feel it, almost like static in the air, the tension of something big about to erupt. And then, it happened. Dylan Cease, the flame-throwing right-hander whose fastball has left batters shaking their heads in disbelief, was no longer a White Sox. The news hit like a lightning strike. Fans blinked, stunned, unable to process the enormity of the trade. To the Toronto Blue Jays, Cease would bring not just raw velocity, but a sense of terror for opposing lineups. Every pitch, every spin, every moment on the mound felt now like the start of a new chapter in a story that would rewrite history. And as the Cease trade set the world ablaze, another seismic shift was quietly unfolding. Ryan Helsley, the electric closer with nerves of steel and a presence that could silence any stadium, was headed to the Orioles. A team desperate for a spark, a lifeline, a new heartbeat. Helsley didn't just bring pitches, he brought moments of sheer adrenaline, the kind that leaves fans screaming, clinging to their seats, heartbeats synced with every slider and cutter slicing through the night air. Thanksgiving break became a battlefield of whispered rumors and confirmed chaos. The rumor mill churned feverishly, each nugget of information dripping with suspense. Front offices were like chess masters plotting several moves ahead, balancing prospects, contracts, and the intangible, the soul of a team. Every deal carried weight, every decision felt monumental, as if the fate of entire seasons rested in the balance. Imagine being a fan, scrolling through notifications, when the first alerts start to pour in. Cease. Helsley. Names that make your pulse quicken. Tweets and notifications fly faster than any fastball. Your brain can barely process the implications. The White Sox losing a cornerstone of their rotation, the Blue Jays suddenly armed with a weapon to strike fear into every L lineup. Meanwhile, the Orioles, long searching for identity, now have a closer who can rewrite games in an instant. And yet, the drama doesn't stop there. Trades began cascading, dominoes falling in ways that nobody could have predicted. Prospects were packaged, contracts were juggled, teams flexed their financial muscle in ways that would make economists raise their eyebrows. Every fan, every analyst, every front office executive suddenly had to rethink everything they believed about the league. This was not a slow burn. This was an explosion, every move more intense than the last. Cease arriving in Toronto didn't just change a roster, it changed the narrative. The Blue Jays' rotation now had a centerpiece, a pitcher whose potential could carry a team through playoff pressure, a hurricane of heat and movement waiting to decimate lineups. And Cease himself. The weight of expectation, the gaze of a city hungry for championship glory, it all fell squarely on his shoulders. But if anyone could handle it, it was him. The kind of pitcher who thrives when the spotlight burns the brightest. Meanwhile, Helsley landing in Baltimore felt like destiny. The Orioles, long struggling to find a closer capable of shutting the door in high-pressure situations, suddenly had one of the league's sharpest arms in their bullpen. And it wasn't just about statistics, it was about momentum, belief, energy. Every save Helsley records could become a rallying cry, a spark that ignites a city's faith in its team. Thanksgiving weekend became a narrative written in fastballs, sliders, and top prospect valuations. Twitter exploded with hot takes and cold stares. Sports media scrambled to keep up. Fans couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, caught in the whirlwind of trades that seemed almost unreal. And yet, amid the chaos, there was artistry, strategy, genius, the kind of meticulous planning that makes baseball as much about brains as brawn. The Blue Jays fans were euphoric. Cease wasn't just a player, he was a statement. A declaration that Toronto was serious, a city that wouldn't settle, a team ready to push its rivals to the edge. Every scouting report, every highlight reel, suddenly carried a new weight. Every fastball Cease had thrown in Chicago now felt like a prelude to something larger, something meant to dominate in the cold winter months ahead. Baltimore, on the other hand, was electrified. Helsley's presence promised drama in every ninth inning, the kind of heart-pounding tension that turns ordinary nights into unforgettable memories. Fans whispered about close games in August, about impossible comebacks, about stadiums roaring as he shut the door, and imagined the future of their team in a way they hadn't dared in years. But this story isn't just about pitchers. The Thanksgiving break trades were like a masterful chessboard, every piece moved with precision, every trade a ripple that would touch teams across the league. Prospects moving like secret treasures, money moving like invisible currents, managers adjusting lineups like generals redeploying forces. It was exhilarating, almost cinematic, the kind of drama that turns casual observers into die-hard believers. The emotional weight of the moves was staggering. Fans of the White Sox felt the sting of loss, a familiar ache whenever a cornerstone departs. Memories of clutch strikeouts, dominating innings, unforgettable moments, all part of a past chapter that was now closed. Yet, there was also hope, a whisper that the future could be brighter, that trades like this were just the prelude to something extraordinary. Toronto, on the other hand, felt a surge of electricity. Cease wasn't just a trade acquisition, he was a signal to the entire league: we are contenders. We are not afraid. We are here to win. The city buzzed with anticipation, fans already imagining the postseason scenarios, the duels, the headlines that would scream across sports pages. Baltimore's excitement had a different flavor, quieter, more intense, a slow-building heat that promised tension and triumph. Helsley in the closer role transformed not just the Orioles' bullpen, but the psyche of the team. Games would be closer. Every save would carry extra weight. Every fan could feel it. Change was coming, and it felt monumental. Across the league, other teams watched and calculated. Every move creates a vacuum, every acquisition shifts balance. Front offices knew that the Thanksgiving break trades weren't isolated events, they were sparks that could ignite a chain reaction. Prospects in farm systems now held new value, veteran players suddenly found themselves with new leverage, and the market for free agents trembled with potential. And then there's the human element, often overlooked in the whirlwind of statistics and highlights. Players moving cities, adjusting to new families, new teammates, new cultures. Cease adjusting to Toronto, Helsley to Baltimore, the pressure is immense. Every expectation, every eye watching, every highlight reel dissected by millions, it all weighs heavily. And yet, it's also exhilarating, the kind of challenge that forges legends. Fans, meanwhile, live every moment in real time. The first social media reactions, the debates over whether these moves were genius or reckless, the heated conversations at dinner tables, it's a collective pulse, a shared heartbeat that stretches across cities and time zones. This is why we love sports, why we tune in even when we're exhausted, because stories like this happen rarely, and when they do, they change everything. Thanksgiving break, a time usually reserved for turkey and family, became a stage for high-stakes drama, a narrative that no one could script. It was spontaneous, chaotic, brilliant. Trades that seemed impossible months ago unfolded in real time, leaving fans breathless and analysts scrambling to keep pace. Every rumor, every confirmation, every hint of speculation added to the tension, like the quiet before a storm. And the storm had consequences beyond the immediate. Cease's fastballs would reshape AL East battles, Helsley's closing magic could redefine the Orioles' fortunes, and the ripple effects would touch teams far removed from the trades themselves. Every pitch, every swing, every managerial decision suddenly carried new context, new stakes. The beauty of baseball is in this unpredictability, this constant motion. Thanksgiving break reminded us why we watch, why we care, why a single trade can dominate headlines and hearts alike. It's not just about numbers or strategy, it's about anticipation, about stories unfolding in real time, about the human drama that makes sports endlessly compelling. And yet, amid the chaos, there was artistry. Each front office had a vision, a plan, a goal. Cease to Toronto wasn't just about pitching, it was about building a narrative, a dynasty in the making. Helsley to Baltimore wasn't just about a closer, it was about identity, about injecting energy and belief into a team hungry for change. As the dust settled and the news cycles slowed, fans had time to reflect. Thanksgiving break had delivered more than trades, it had delivered stories, tension, hope, and heartbreak. It reminded us that baseball is alive, that every decision echoes, that every move can change not just a team, but the entire league. We watched as players took the next step in their careers, as teams recalibrated, as analysts scribbled notes feverishly. But beyond the spreadsheets and stat lines, there was emotion, pure and raw. Excitement, anxiety, anticipation, and yes, a little fear, fear of the unknown, fear of disappointment, fear that the gamble wouldn't pay off. And then, in quiet moments, the human drama revealed itself. Dylan Cease, a young man with immense talent, stepping onto a new mound, eyes sharp, focus unwavering. Ryan Helsley, feeling the weight of a city's hope on his shoulders, ready to seize every ninth-inning opportunity. These weren't just trades, they were journeys, each with stakes higher than the tallest scoreboard. As fans, we are privileged witnesses to these stories. We get to feel the highs and lows, to debate, to cheer, to cry, to celebrate. Thanksgiving break wasn't just about food or family, it was about witnessing the living, breathing spectacle of baseball. Every decision, every pitch, every swing a note in a symphony of drama, tension, and triumph. And so, as the dust finally settles, as social media quiets, as analysts file their reports, one truth remains clear: the league has changed. Dylan Cease in Toronto, Ryan Helsley in Baltimore, the ramifications are profound, the story's just beginning. We may not know the full impact yet, but we feel it in our hearts, in the quiet anticipation of the next game, the next inning, the next pitch. This Thanksgiving, the feast wasn't just on the table. It was on the baseball diamond. The game reminded us why we love it, why every pitch matters, why heroes are made not just in October, but in the quiet moments of a November trade deadline. And maybe that's the beauty of it all: change is terrifying, exhilarating, unpredictable. It shakes us, challenges us, inspires us. It reminds us that nothing is permanent, that legends are forged in motion, and that sometimes, in a single week, a single trade, the future of the sport can shift forever. Dylan Cease, Ryan Helsley, Thanksgiving break, a story we'll remember, a story that proves that baseball is never just a game. It's drama, it's art, it's life itself, unfolding one pitch, one inning, one trade at a time. And as fans, as lovers of this beautiful, unpredictable sport, all we can do is watch, wonder, and feel our hearts race, knowing that the next chapter is already on its way.